Hey, Foot Clan, the time is now. Head over to ultimatedraftkit.com. Prepare yourself for the 2019 season. You can get the Ultimate Draft Kit at the lowest possible price, complete with 100-plus player profile videos, tons of proprietary stats, information, things that you got to know, including Matt Harmon's reception, perception, and a whole lot more. Check it out at ultimatedraftkit.com.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from pristineauction.com studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. It's going to be a doozy.
So much fun.
Oh, it's time to go. What are you sending? Oh, is that a 700?
That was a little cryptic message.
Well, you held it up and the light was reflecting off of it. No one could see it. It's
Not so cryptic because
yeah, it's more.
It was just a message.
This is show 700 in our illustrious history, and
It's the illustrious.
we're still beta. This is still a beta.
For sure.
Once you go 700, that's when you try to figure out, do we have something here? Do we go on? I guess we keep going at this point.
Is there like a Charlie that we can go to before release?
That's what. If you saw me, you can check the tape. I'm looking up. I'm trying to think.
You go alpha.
Beta.
Oh, you're looking for a Charlie?
Right.
Alpha, beta. No. All right.
Might not make it to 701.
We have a show that may go on forever.
Hey, good news, though.
I mean,
this is going to
this
be an
episode,
awesome show.
This episode. This is the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, Mike, the Fantasy Hitman Wright, Paul Giamatti / Brooks running the
Let's just say on the
switches
bullies,
and the dials.
the ones and the twos.
Yeah.
It's always been my goal, and maybe I've never said this publicly, but I've always wanted to have enough money someday to hire somebody just to pull levers, and you put them in an office with a bunch of switches, and it doesn't do anything.
They look like they're in the engine room from Titanic.
Yes.
I mean, like steam is blowing out. They're shoveling coal.
This is intern stuff.
I'll
I mean,
bet
we
there
should
would be
bring
a-
an intern in for this.
I'll bet there would be a lot of people willing to take that job for sure.
But I mean, we'd have to invest at least a few $100 in the buttons and the pulleys and the.
I would take that job.
It'd be a big wheel in there.
Hard day at work today, honey.
The problem with the job is we tell you that it's of the utmost importance that you don't screw up your job.
And every time somebody
And alarms are going off.
alarms go off. Jason goes in there every once in a while and just asks if, did you push that button? Make sure you push that button.
Is this like a lost situation? I got to
yes.
enter the numbers or something will happen?
This is the kind of business I want to run. This is my whole life goal.
Show
This is what-
700, everybody.
All right, free agent frenzy. Oh, my goodness. I thought we would be coming in here, and it would be all about Le'Veon Bell and him finally signing a deal / releasing a single, and we'd be just talking about what team he's on, and instead, the bomb was dropped by Gettleman and Dorsey.
I wouldn't say Gettleman dropped a bomb as so much.
Laid an egg?
He had someone like sneeze in his face.
Who was that, Dorsey?
Yeah.
That's what a good trade is? It's a sneeze in the face?
Well, Dorsey pulled off a great trade. Gettleman just had the bubonic plague sprayed in his face.
Gettleman was yawning.
Yes. And Dorsey happened to be
Dorsey
walking
said-
by, sneezed directly into his mouth.
I posted a meme that said, look, every fantasy league has a brand new owner. And Dorsey took advantage of Gettleman in this trade. Odell Beckham Jr., if you haven't heard, that's why we're here. He was traded from the New York Football Giants to the Cleveland Browns. Official today. Actually official yesterday because you're listening to this on Thursday. We're recording late Wednesday. The league year has just opened. Tons of deals have become official. We may have breaking news here on the show, but we're going to spend time talking about all the major signings, including this monster trade. Odell Beckham Jr. traded essentially for a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers, the safety from Cleveland. Welcome to the Browns.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of Browns talk this year. The hype train, it's official. It's going. the offensive position players. When you talk about fantasy football, what more do you want? Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., Antonio Callaway,
Njoku,
David Njoku at tight end, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Duke Johnson in the running back rotation.
It's unbelievable. One of the funnier tweets, I apologize, I would give credit if I remembered who said it, but they essentially said, you can't even assemble this squad on a fantasy team.
Yeah, I think it might have been Silva that said that.
Was it Silva?
But here's the thing. I have a bunch of questions for you because fantasy owners have questions. You know, I have a team where I've got keepers. I had Saquon and Beckham. I'm happy. I don't got two guys on the same offense run by Eli Manning.
Right.
But let me ask you this. Baker Mayfield. That is where we begin the discussion because
man,
you cannot assemble better weapons for a player. We saw what Pat Mahomes did year 2. Tons of weapons. Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce and Kareem Hunt. Baker Mayfield belongs where in your fantasy rankings after this news? And then the follow-up question, well, let's answer that one first, and then I got a second one.
Baker is going to be awesome. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of best ball leagues. He's being drafted, and this was foolish a couple days ago unless everybody out there has a crystal ball. He was the 5th quarterback taken off the board ADP in best ball.
You were bemoaning it. You were surprised.
I was like, what is Baker? Like, I love Baker. I'm on team Baker, but he was going, 5th off the board. Now, with Odell Beckham added there, all the weapons, I think he deserves to be around that area. I mean, I would take him ahead of Drew Brees. I would take him ahead of Cam Newton and stalwarts who for years have been great because Baker, I mean, it will depend a little bit what his ADP is, right? Because if he ends up
to go crazy.
If he ends up as the 5th quarterback and he'll
be higher than the 5th quarterback
in the 6th round or higher, then I'm out. There's no way I'm drafting Baker there.
Mike, quarterbacks that will be drafted ahead of Baker Mayfield. Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson.
No.
Andrew Luck.
Yes, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck will be drafted
probably.
Ahead of Baker. Is that it?
And then I would think Deshaun Watson will, but I think you're talking about that fluctuation from 4 to 5 is where Baker will fall in.
I looked up our Dynasty League last year, the rookie draft. Okay? Established Dynasty League, Baker Mayfield went in the back of the 2nd round.
Right.
Drop Baker Mayfield into this year's rookie draft. Where does he go?
Ooh.
He's probably
middle of the 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking, where would we draft him? I would draft him if he fell to like the 3rd, if it's a single quarterback startup dynasty.
No, not a startup dynasty. I'm talking about a rookie draft.
Rookie draft, Jay.
Oh. Tune in, Jay.
Okay.
Tune in. Make the connection to my question.
Sure we're all on the same page.
I said you're dropping Baker Mayfield into this year's rookie draft. Last year in the rookie draft, he went in the back of the 2nd round. Now that you know what you know, where would he go in this year's rookie draft if he was dropped right into the middle of it?
He'd probably be my 101.
Would he?
In this year's, there's no Saquon. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to get drafted to be a star somewhere. So, I would take him over anybody.
I have a purpose to that question, and that is to say, historically speaking, in these rookie drafts, quarterbacks go later and later, okay? And you have a player, Kyler Murray, no matter where he goes, Arizona number 1, New York number 4, 5, or 5, 6, Oakland at 4, whatever. You look at players like this. Pat Mahomes has done it young in his career. Baker Mayfield just broke the record. The way the game's changing, Kyler Murray, he can run the football.
Right.
How high does Kyler Murray belong on your rookie draft list?
Oof.
For what you project him to be in the pros.
I still need to see what team he goes to because what we know about Baker, which is changing the situation for him, is the head coaching situation for him has improved infinite. I mean, exponentially.
Up from Hugh Jackson, from
to Freddie Kitchens and Todd Monken. I mean, they're gonna air it out. Look what Monken was doing in Tampa Bay. He's talking about passing to set up the run. I mean, this is fabulous for Baker. So it was the situation changed drastically. I liked Baker's dynasty outlook, but adding a Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver certainly changes the equation for any quarterback.
So circling back to the Browns offense, Odell Beckham Jr. joins it. Here's one of the voice of public opinion questions that people want to know. Is there enough to go around?
Plenty.
I think there's enough to go around, certainly for Odell to stay a top star. He gets an upgrade at quarterback, maybe a downgrade in target volume or target percentage. But I don't think there's enough to go around where, like for instance, before this trade, David Njoku would have been a spot or two higher in my tight end rankings. He drops a little bit. He's still a great red zone target, but the idea of him taking a huge step up in target volume probably not going to happen this year now, the same way it would have happened without Odell Beckham there.
Antonio Callaway breakout potential is now nullified.
Yeah, it goes down. He'll be likely relegated to those. Think of Tyrell Williams last year, where there'll be games where he hits on a deep touchdown, but more often than not. But I guess if ruining your flow here, Andy, but Jarvis that's what's interesting to me, because I think everyone's getting upgrades, but meanwhile Jarvis is no longer the number one guy on his team.
That's where I was going next.
Okay.
I was going to ask you the question of whether Odell Beckham Jr. or Jarvis Landry will have more total receptions next season.
Odell Beckham.
You both believe Beckham will?
He's the one. I even though Jarvis is much more of a possession, not the field stretcher, I still think you've got to target Beckham more.
And Beckham can do that. Beckham's not Alshon Jeffrey, where you're happy that he's in the 60 reception range. Odell Beckham plays every role of the wide receiver position to a perfection.
Yeah, see, I don't see this as everybody gets a bump up. Odell Beckham to me stays the same as he was. Baker goes way up. Baker to me is now set up to take that year 2 jump forward. But every other pass catcher I think takes a slight bump down. I think Jarvis takes a bump down.
I guess
Njoku,
I'm thinking of
Callaway.
To me, Odell goes up because his quarterback is tremendously better.
His first 3 seasons in the league, 130, 158, 169 targets, 91, 96, 101 receptions, 1,300-plus yards, and 10-plus touchdowns. The last 2 years, obviously, the big problem in New York was going to be getting into the end zone with Eli Manning and Saquon Barkley. Flip it to the other side now, because we're going to exhaustively cover this. The Giant side of the football, yes, you have a giant Beckham-shaped hole in your offense.
Oh, no, you don't.
Evan Ingram.
It's plugged. That hole does not exist, and it goes to Evan Ingram. My reign of terror, it continues.
Mike is having a good dynasty offseason. Evan Ingram is the major beneficiary in this offense, but should dynasty keeper league owners be looking at Sterling Shepard, be looking at Russell Shepard, be looking at
Corey Coleman?
Corey Coleman, who is tendered at a first-round value today for some reason. Who's going to go take him at a different value?
Well, that's where there's a dispute, because it was reported he got a first-round tender. We're talking about Corey Coleman. Then Ian Rappaport came in and said it was an original round tender, which is a first-rounder. But then there's these weird logistics of, for example, I'll talk about Josh Gordon, where beat reporters are breaking down. The Patriots gave Josh Gordon an original round tender, which would be a second round because he was a second-round supplemental guy. But because they classified it as an original round, the compensation that the Patriots would get if somebody actually signed Josh Gordon would only be a third-round pick. So I'm not exactly sure what that means for Corey Coleman. But to answer your point, who was going to come and get Corey Coleman? Nobody. Like I am baffled that they put this tender on him. But the Giants are his third team, right?
Yes. If you count the Bills.
And the irony,
I do.
And the irony is, let me read you the 2017 Cleveland Browns offense: DeSean Kaiser, Isaiah Crowell, Corey Coleman, Rashad Higgins, David Njoku. That was the year he was drafted, right? 2017. Yeah. Now Mayfield, Chubb, Hunt, OBJ, Landry, Callaway, and Njoku.
And also, to me, I want to get your guys' take because I don't think we've even talked about this. Nick Chubb gets a bump.
Yes.
For me, he goes up just because of I don't care how much they're going to be throwing. He's going to be on a much better offense. You get those. He's the goal line back, and those goal line opportunities have now gone up.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the great running backs, right? Look at Todd Gurley, great offense. Alvin Kamara, great offense. Lev Bell of years past was on a great offense. Look at the difference between David Johnson and Todd Gurley.
It was touchdowns.
When Todd Gurley's offense sucked, Todd Gurley sucked. When David Johnson's offense sucked, David Johnson sucked. Yeah, this is great news for Chubb. good for Hunt when Hunt gets involved. It's great. I do think Sterling Shepard, to get back to the Giants side of the ball, I think he's going to be he'll definitely get a bump up. He averages about 2 more points fantasy-wise in the games that Odell Beckham has been out. Now he can't step up. I think Sterling Shepard is a fantastic receiver, but he's not. He can't step up into that role. He can't be a 1 for fantasy, but I think he'll be a solid.
He may have no choice.
2.5.
He
2.5 stars.
2.5.
Shepard.
We all agree the foundation for this super team was set by Hugh Jackson, though, right?
Oh, for
totally.
Sure.
Just like the Rams were set by Fisher.
All right, I've got a lot to talk about here before we jump into the full free agent frenzy and talk about the rest of the big-time deals. This show may last forever. That's okay. After today's show, you want to keep listening because Brooks has put together a very special montage for show 700 to celebrate the 700 different nicknames or so that we have come up with on accident over the course of 700 shows. After the episode, there's what? How long is it, Brooks? About 5 minutes?
Yeah, about 5-6 minutes.
All right, there's a little montage afterwards he put together.
It's really fun.
It's pretty funny. And so you can tune in on YouTube. It might be better to watch it. It's pretty funny.
That's what I was going to say. Definitely check that out on YouTube because you get to see a lot there. It's really fun.
Before we leave the discussion, Andy, I want to hear you work through real quick. Where is Evan Engram in the tight end pecking order?
Yeah, because you want to hear somebody else say it out
yeah,
loud.
well,
Mike and I did it at
Jason and I
lunch.
did it at lunch, so I want to hear you do the thought experiment.
Firmly ahead of him, Zach Ertz. Firmly ahead of him, Travis Kelce.
Sure.
I would say I am more confident in George Kittle.
Yes.
That's the end.
Yeah, that's where we got.
Baby.
That's where we got. He's in a tier.
Kevin is Ingram and eggs.
He's in a tier with other people, OJ Howard, Eric Ebron, and some others that, if you want to argue he's not number 4, that's absolutely fine.
I think you could make the argument that he's not, and the basis for that argument would simply be the implosion of the New York Giants as a whole. If Eli Manning begins the season, and this is full rebuild, and in week 3 they're moving in a youngster, that's a huge problem for Evan Engram. That's where I would say you're holding your breath. Because as it stands now, if Eli's the quarterback for the season, Evan Ingram's probably their leading receiver at the end of the season.
Him or Barkley?
Yeah.
Barkley going to catch 8 passes a game.
Sir Charles?
Oh.
All right, youtube.com/thefantasyfootballers. Subscribe, click the bell. We're on Instagram, instagram.com/fantasyfootballers, Twitter at the FFBallers. Got a very important announcement. We are adding to our Fantasy Footballers writing staff ahead of 2019. This will be the only time we mention it.
I love that.
Because we will only need to mention it once.
You will not see a tweet.
You won't see a tweet. You won't see a link. If you can't remember this address, I'm sorry. You're not qualified.
If you're not listening at this time of year to our show.
But here's the deal, fantasyfootballers.com/writers. If you want to send in an application, we're looking to add probably 2 to 4 writers to our staff. Right now, we have about 10 people that contribute to the website. You can learn more about it at fantasyfootballers.com/writers. And look, we're looking for good people with good insight and the ability to more grammatically advanced than Jason.
Mildly, yeah.
Yeah, and check it out.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. You'll be part of the team here. We're a pretty close-knit group, so we're already. You're listening right now. Our future writers, you're listening.
That's right.
We're happy to have you part of the team and the whole Foot Clan.
Yeah.
This is one big team. This is fantasy for fun. Hey, before we get to the free agent frenzy and talk about like 700
Well put.
different free agents, want to thank today's sponsor. Support for today's show comes from HelloFresh. HelloFresh continues to make the cooking and shopping experience so much easier in life. And look, everybody eats dinner, and sometimes
You're darn right.
I get sick of having spaghetti every day. But
You know who's going to eat? Evan Engram.
Very good. HelloFresh, they always make it very, very easy. They do the recipes for you. They do the shopping for you. They send it right to your door with
It's super
pre-measured, perfect ingredients. No meal takes longer than 30 minutes. It's only a maximum of 2 pots and pans. Easy cleanup. It is so easy to do it. And you might not think, oh, I can't do this. You can. Get out of your comfort zone. It is very fun. My wife and I, we always do love dinners. And for $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/footballers80 and enter the code footballers80. That's HelloFresh.com/footballers80 and enter the code footballers80 for $20 off your first 4 boxes.
Free Agent Frenzy.
All right, 2 things. First of all, Free Agent Frenzy. The news encompasses everything on today's show, so we want to give a shout-out to the Sleeper app. You probably, if you have it on your phone, your watch, you probably heard it. Or
It's been blowing up.
something happened every 2 seconds. Check out the Sleeper app. Second of all, I feel like love dinners is one of those things that when you say it, you probably should like explain it
No.
every time.
No.
My wife and
Or
I.
never say
never.
it.
Let it be out there in the ether, man.
Really?
Love dinners.
Yeah. We love each other, and we talk, and we cook a nice dinner together.
All right, now we understand.
Yeah.
Just
good
making
time.
sure. All right, Le'Veon Bell.
The bell tolls for thee.
The bell toll was expensive, Le'Veon.
Yeah.
I feel like, look, lots of rumors out there about where he could go, potential destinations, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Raiders. It ended up that the New York Jets, they came a-calling. 4 years, $52.5 million. He joins Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, Jamison Crowder.
It's an interesting team.
Isaiah Crowell, Elijah McGuire in the backfield. If you had hopes for somebody else, at the running back position in a dynasty league, I'm sorry, but it's Lev Bell's job. It is a very interesting team. I make the joke every year. They compete to be second.
Yeah.
Behind New England, but they have the makings of, look, it's going to come down to a step forward for Sam Darnold. I think that's actually what's going to bring the top 10 type of value to Le'Veon Bell. It's going to be, does he catch enough passes from Darnold? Does the offense move enough to where he's scoring touchdowns? Do you guys agree with that? I mean, I have him, my early top 10, before he had a home, I had him at 9th overall, and I guess I haven't really sat down to say, hey, do I move him based on the Jets placement? But I like him there. I think 9 is about where I want him. I'm comfortable. And again, that's 9, not the 9th running back, but 9th overall pick. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, he belongs there. He was not in my top 10. I wasn't going to have him be in my top 10 prior to a landing spot. But this is, I believe, a pretty good landing spot. We've seen Isaiah Crowell in stints, be able to have success. Now, Adam Gase is, you can argue he could be a problem because of the fact that he does stupid things that most people with a brain disagree with. However, he has had running back success.
Massive fantasy running back success.
Yeah, for also, Kenyon Drake has had success under him. Frank Gore continued, to do work. And so with this level of money, that's what we always talk about is like, what's the investment in the player? They haven't invested so much capital that they will give him the rock over 300 times. He'll get, 280 or so carries. I can't even count the number of receptions he's going to have. Darnold checking down to him. I think it's a really nice fit. Darnold will throw the ball to him a lot, and I think he's going to help Darnold. So he'll be probably in my top 5 running backs. I just think there's too much work, too much talent. But do I see him with the potential to have, a number 1, like the best season? No, I don't think he can do that. I don't think the offense is going to score enough points.
I agree. The volume will completely be there. My biggest question for Le'Veon Bell as he switched teams was how good would the offensive line actually be? And at least according to Pro Football Focus, they're heading out of the season rankings. The Jets were 25 in terms of offensive line power rankings. Let's see if they can shore that up. But Le'Veon Bell has a very unique running style. Will it translate? Will it work
with a bad O-line?
With a bad O-line. And that's just me playing devil's advocate over here because opportunity is everything in fantasy football, and Le'Veon Bell's going to get a ton of it.
In 2017, Bell led the league with 321 carries. The leading rusher last season was Zeke with 304. Behind him was 261. So this is not the same NFL Bell left, you could argue, with the just the increase in passing numbers, but he should be able to get enough from Darnold out of the backfield to be in top 10 consideration. It's not, there was a push by the 49ers, reportedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Multiple sources have said that. And what does that say to you about Jerick McKinnon, Matt Breida, the confidence level of Kyle Shanahan in the return? Because we just talked about Jerick McKinnon, and I asked you, I said, hey, what's the difference in your hype now for Jerick McKinnon and a year ago? And you said there wasn't a really big difference, but we did point out, look, you're coming off the ACL, and then you didn't know what you had in Breida. But does that news affect you?
It doesn't affect me because they didn't get him.
It does affect me. It does affect me, obviously not in any way as it would have if they had got him, but it shows a lack of supreme confidence. I mean, you could argue, he's not Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell's going to upgrade it, but I don't think they go looking for Le'Veon Bell at all, even being the best. I don't think they go looking if they believe that Jerick McKinnon was locked and loaded as a star running back. If they thought, we've got our guy, we love everything about him, he's our running back of the future, he's going to be great, I'm super confident, that you just don't go out and look at the amount of money you'd have to spend to get a slight upgrade. They see him as a significant upgrade if they were trying to make an offer. That kind of changes.
Yeah,
it just
but
changes
Le'Veon
how I look.
Le'Veon Bell is a significant upgrade over how many teams out there? Like
just a lot of money.
28?
You spent a lot of money on McKinnon, obviously.
Yeah.
But then you did rifle through 4 different backs over the course of the year. Alfred Morris, Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida. There were others.
My name is Jeff.
Jeff Wilson Jr. So, look, in today's NFL, I guess one injury, right?
Yeah.
We were going into the season last year seeing superstar numbers for Jerick McKinnon, but one injury took that away. All right, Latavius Murray signed a 4-year deal with the New Orleans Saints. Jason, if you saw on our Twitter at the FF Ballers, he received an early payout of our water bet.
Oh, you know what? I love this landing spot for Latavius Murray. I hated it when it happened, right? Because I said we had a water bet. I thought Mark Ingram would re-sign with the Saints. And so you sneak attack. And, Mike, you need to listen to this, okay? Because I just brought this up to Andy. I was like, you opened the door here on these water bets. The sneak attack water bet payout.
You think I don't know that?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. If you see me with a phone in my hand.
Well, I don't lose
and a
bets.
cup.
I mean, I've just never lost anything.
But the nice thing is, while I was upset when Latavius Murray signed, I went out today and traded for him in Dynasty, and I am so thrilled about Latavius Murray's landing spot because his value, his name recognition is low. People don't like Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray is a backup. A lot of people think Latavius Murray is a bum. But the situation he has found himself in is one where he will be an RB2. He will be a common weekly starter. That's how I'm viewing this landing spot.
He'll be an RB2 to me, but he will also have a low floor. I'll say, like, you play him
high
as
floor?
No, low floor.
Like
he could have a week where he disappears.
You'll play him as an RB2, but you're going to run into time periods, like possibly 2 weeks in a row, where you just get furious with what Latavius Murray was able to do. But end of season, I bet his cumulative numbers will be in that RB2 range.
Over under 8 touchdowns for Latavius Murray.
Oof, that's a good number.
8's a great line. I'm going to go under.
Here's to Jason's or to Mike's point. Last year, I mean, even after Ingram came back, and we'd all agree Mark Ingram's a better player than Latavius Murray.
I would say that.
More
yes.
versatile, probably going to catch more passes. He had a game 9 for 33.
Yeah, week 9
He had a game
against
12 for 32.
Yeah.
He had single-digit games in 4 of his last 6 games while he was healthy. So that's the kind of question mark. Is it a bump up for Alvin Kamara? I think so.
Yes.
I think it is a bump up for Alvin Kamara. Not crazy.
Well,
not going outlandishly, but he's going to be better.
Yeah, and he's the more talented player. He's the incumbent here. You know, when Kamara came, Mark Ingram was already established. Now Kamara is the established player. Latavius Murray is coming in to get 12 to 15 carries, on a game. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to spell him. He'll get his goal line work. And Latavius Murray can catch the ball too. So I think it's actually a pretty good Mark Ingram replacement. But if you look at the last 2 years, Mark Ingram has been very valuable by comparison of the running back landscape for fantasy, and he's been doing that with Alvin Kamara. And JJ Zachariason, good friend of the show, he tweeted out a perfect example of why I'm so excited about Latavius Murray here. Here are the team running back rankings for fantasy football in PPR since 2011. Here's where the New Orleans Saints ranked. First, second, first. The lowest that they have ranked for fantasy points at the running back position since 2011 has been second.
It's a strong point. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how that breakdown happens, how fresh they want to keep Alvin Kamara. This is a team that wants to threaten for a championship. They don't have a big window right now.
Kamara or Le'Veon Bell?
Kamara.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark Ingram. Let's talk about the signing of Mark Ingram, not with the Saints, but with the Ravens. 3 years, $15 million. Well, the Gus bus. The brakes are out.
It's making a pit stop.
Look, this is the problem with any
should have gone Greyhound.
Low money commitment is you bring somebody else in. I mean, if you have a Kenneth Dixon share in Dynasty, you're not happy either. And Mark Ingram should come in, handle the early down work, versatility, the ability to catch the football, better than Gus Edwards. What is Ingram in Baltimore? How do you view it today, right now? What's his ceiling?
Ingram's an RB2. I agree. I don't think he has the ability to be an RB1 here because you are. I mean,
ceiling RB is RB1.
Like best case scenario, because they certainly run the ball enough, and I think people are going to overemphasize the amount of volume that the Ravens have. If you just look at the raw numbers and you don't factor in the quarterback rushing attempts, you just go, they ran the ball so much, clearly far and away first.
Here's the attempts. Here, Gus Edwards, games 10 through 16, so that's when Lamar Jackson took over. And Gus Edwards was the primary guy. He averaged over 17 attempts a game.
Which is fantastic.
Which is a pace that's almost a 280 attempt pace, and that's no pass catching for Gus Edwards.
That is the problem. I don't think it's because Gus Edwards can't catch the ball.
Gus Edwards can't catch the ball.
Oh, sure, and Mark Ingram can. But the reason why I am saying I don't see Mark Ingram as an RB1 is because where he is better than Gus Edwards is not just on the ground. I mean, Gus Edwards is about as good a running back as Mark Ingram is on the ground. Mark Ingram has the pass-catching ability. But I don't think they're going to utilize that much. Lamar Jackson is not a
you just called
dump it down to the
You just called Ingram and Murray a 2.
Yes.
You got Ingram ahead of Murray.
I would have Ingram ahead of Murray because of volume, yes.
Look, here's the thing. They have been fabricating what they want to do on offense at the running back position for years in Baltimore. This is not a statistical analysis argument. This is a philosophical argument. They have been wanting a player like Mark Ingram. They have been conforming players. Everyone from Javorius Allen to Alex Collins to Gus Edwards.
Yeah, since Ray Rice, they have been searching.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so based on that and the numbers that we saw with Lamar Jackson and the fact that Lamar Jackson, the read option, it does some things to defenses that Mark Ingram can take advantage of, and Gus Edwards could have and did. I'm very bullish on Mark Ingram. Now, I think he's going to be a fringe one type of candidate. That's where I have him.
Now, question for your dynasty team, and yes, every dynasty team is super contextual and everything. Would you be trying to sell or trade away Mark Ingram right now with this instant value boost that he just got?
Do you think he got an instant value boost?
Oh, huge.
100%.
Huge. He just signed a 3-year deal, so now you as owners feel like, oh man, my guy is secure for the next 3 years, not realizing he's 29 now.
He'll be
30 at the start of the season.
No, at the midpoint. He's a December birthday.
Oh, that's right.
He's a Christmas baby. Right around there.
4 days beforehand.
Yeah.
So I would at
not
least
to be
try.
confused with Doug Martin, who's a Christmas demon.
No,
He eats
eats Christmas babies.
Yeah. You don't want Mark Ingram to be on the field with Krampus.
No,
Does Doug Martin have a team?
not yet.
Oh, that's weird.
Not yet.
Just any minute.
I was actually doing some reading on the Lynch situation. Mayock and Gruden, they're just kind of waiting to find out if Marshawn Lynch is interested in playing or not. They don't know whether he wants to be back for another season. But obviously with Lev Bell out of the way, I think Oakland would be one of those teams that's looking at more of a secondary depth type of running back. Like Jay Ajayi could end up in Oakland.
And Coleman. We still haven't heard anything on Tevin.
No, you haven't. There'll be a second wave of free agents, even in the Spencer Ware category, that will make contribution. Spencer Ware could end up in Minnesota, backing up Dalvin Cook. Those type of situations. All right, let's talk about a few more signings at the running back position. Adrian Peterson and Mike Davis. Adrian Peterson was re-signed yesterday.
I mean, applause for both of these guys.
For getting that money?
Yeah, really. I mean, Adrian Peterson, 33?
Yeah.
Goodness. Signed a 2-year, $8 million deal. And Mike Davis, who he was a lower draft pick. He hasn't been able to get that money. So congratulations to Mike Davis for going to Chicago, 2 years, $6 million.
Mike Davis is scary for Jordan Howard owners.
It's so weird. The problem is it is only a 2-year, $6 million contract.
It's not a deal that you give somebody to come in and be the starter.
Right.
It's just a deal that makes you go, are they really going to trade Jordan Howard?
I don't know.
What are they going to do? Are they going to draft somebody that fits the scheme better?
I don't know.
And if they keep it the same and they just bring back all three, that takes a little bit away from Jordan Howard, right? It feels like, I don't know. It's not a good situation. I mean, Jordan Howard owners are probably hoping that he has some team trade for him that puts him into a clear-cut good situation.
Honestly, for Jordan Howard, this is like, for your dynasty situation, this is absolute worst-case scenario.
It really is.
You're in full purgatory.
No, if you had $100,
worst case scenario.
No, because then you know he's gone.
Yeah.
You know they're going to get rid of him.
And then and you were making the argument to me when you were trying to tell me how Jordan Howard's amazing in Dynasty and why I should want him.
I was trying to trade you.
Yeah, you were trying to trade me Jordan Howard. But you were making the argument, at least if he was gone, somebody's going to trade for him, wanting him to play. If you had $100, okay, and you had to break it up between Tariq Cohen, Jordan Howard, and Mike Davis today, and you had to spread it out, how would you spread that money in? How would you spread those fantasy points out?
Ooh.
I would go 50 on Tariq Cohen.
I would go 50, but there's a number that's just 5 points higher.
I can't do that because I can't take it away because I still need like 30 on Howard and then 20 on.
Would you be willing to
Mike
move
Davis.
Tariq up if Howard's gone? Would you be willing to get him to 55?
Yes.
All right, we talked about the Carlos Hyde to the Chiefs. We talked about Frank Gore to the Bills. Zach Zinner.
Real quick, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We need to give the take on what does this do for Darius Geis?
It does very little to me because I almost want to ignore it as a sign of how little I think it matters. Adrian Peterson will be a wonderful insurance policy. He will be somebody that can take some of the load off of Geis because Geis had multiple surgeries. So there could be a recovery bridge that needs to happen, but
that's how it affects me with Geis, is the fact that there have been, you can watch video of him running now, Darius Geis, looks like he's getting back, but plenty of reports, Pro Football Doc, even in response to those posts of him running, said, look, this is great. This is great news. It looks like he's progressing well, but keep in mind, he's still on a very hard timetable to be ready for this season. Now the team goes out and signs Adrian Peterson for a 2-year, $8 million deal. Yes, maybe he's an insurance policy, but it
speaks to the timeline of Geis' recovery to you?
Exactly. It makes me less bullish on the idea that Geis is just completely ready to go this year. He's going to be great this year. He might be a little bit behind in his recovery. We already know he's months behind because of the unfortunate circumstances with the infection situation, but it's very similar to the report with San Francisco saying, hey, they were looking at Lev Bell. It takes a little bit of my confidence in the team's confidence in that player. I know what you knew, what you thought I knew.
Yeah, but one's Lev Bell and one's Adrian Peterson.
Sure, but one is actually signed and one was just a thought.
All right, DeSean Jackson, did we talk about this trade? Did we have a chance to talk about it on the last show?
No.
DeSean Jackson was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think it came in as breaking news.
All right, here's a little reminder. DeSean Jackson was drafted as the wide receiver 58 last year. And with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was the wide receiver 8 in fantasy football from weeks 1 through 4. There is upside to DeSean Jackson in Philadelphia. He signed an extension upon the trade. So look, you ask
He's still good.
You ask people around the league, they say he hasn't lost a step. I saw comparisons to the only player that compared to him on longevity with speed like this is Joey Galloway from days gone by. DeSean Jackson can still run. Jason, you said a lot of really nice things about Carson Wentz on the last episode.
Yes, and Warren Sharp put out some great posts just talking about how underrated this deal is because metrics-wise and looking at kind of some advanced metrics, where DeSean Jackson wins and wins, consistently in the NFL matches up very well to where Carson Wentz wins. These are, they're taking strength and adding strength to it. The deep ball, Carson Wentz could throw it.
Iron sharpens iron.
There you go. And so I think this is it gives value to DeSean Jackson, gives even more value to Carson Wentz.
John Brown.
Just a side tangent of this. All reports currently have the Eagles keeping Nelson Aguilar. But now he gets to move back into the slot where he actually had success. Or does DeSean Jackson coming in being more of a target hog than Aguilar is used to?
Aguilar was going to have problems anyway.
Agreed.
Okay.
He's got problems because of two much larger individuals.
Sure.
Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert.
Look, if Carson Wentz, I talked about this in the overreaction episode. If Carson Wentz is going in the double digits, if everyone wants Baker Mayfield because look at his weapons, he's got Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and David Njoku and Antonio Callaway. Put those 4 weapons. I mean, you don't have the height of Odell Beckham, but put those up against the weapons here. If you've got DeSean Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey,
did you say the height?
What?
The height of Odell Beckham?
Yeah, meaning the ceiling. You don't have the same number one.
Is that what you were looking at?
I'm baffled. You're comparing the weapons.
Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey, DeSean Jackson, and Nelson Aguilar is a great team for Carson Wentz.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
Ertz is so much better than David Njoku.
Yeah, Ertz is one of the best receivers in the game. Jeffrey got the size. DeSean Jackson spread the field. Nelson Aguilar
from a quarterback standpoint, he has everything he needs to succeed now.
Yeah, but not the height of Odell Beckham.
Yes, I did mean that though, as in like the ceiling, as in he's got the highest.
That's what people say. The height.
Yeah.
I did mean that though.
I did.
Wait,
I'm gonna lean in.
You didn't mean that though, right? That's the truth. Is you didn't mean his height.
I meant the height of his ceiling,
not the height. The height.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? It's not the height.
No,
it's the height.
That's exactly right. Not the height.
Okay.
Of Odell Beckham.
Not the height.
But
the height.
But the height of.
I see.
You heard it this time.
Height.
Yes.
Height.
No.
Height.
Right, because if you're talking about someone's height, you don't put emphasis on it, right? Andy's height is taller than mine.
But what about my height?
But I would say your height, right?
No, that's the third one.
Right. No, I know, but then that's where he ranks on the height scale. Okay, so like Odell Beckham is like his height. Andy Holloway is like his height.
Right. No, now I get
it's
it.
All right.
Totally clear. Speaking of a height, the height of John Brown has gone down.
Yeah.
As much as I love Josh Allen, it ain't good to be traded to the Bills or to sign with the Bills or to live near the stadium.
Yeah.
At least
3 years, $27 million.
Josh Allen throws a good deep ball. John Brown is fast.
Josh Allen, or a.k.a. Josh Stallion, throws a far deep ball. He does not throw a good Superman throws good.
I've seen the accuracy. Look, people want to say Josh Allen is a great deep ball because he can throw the ball over the moon. It hasn't always landed in receivers' hands, but
he could throw at the moon and miss the moon.
He could miss them. Well, in its fairness, so would I. That being said, he hasn't had players as capable, and he hasn't had as much time. And I've made the comparison to Cam Newton, and I think it stands up. It just takes one big play. Robert Foster had relevance for many of the late season games.
Yes.
Zay Jones, Robert Foster, John Brown, those are burners. Okay, these guys can get down the field quick, and John Brown is more refined than Robert Foster is. He helps Josh Allen, as does Cole Beasley, who also signed a deal with the Bills. because they want Josh Allen to have every weapon they can.
Yeah, and then they tried to trade for Odell Beckham Jr. as well. So obviously the Bills are for Antonio Brown.
Okay, you confused me a little bit.
The Bills are clearly trying to help Josh Allen. I will say this: when it comes to John Brown helps Josh Allen. I'm going to say that, I want to make the connection of he can run and get behind a defense, and Josh Allen could throw the ball behind the defense. But it reminds me of what we saw with DeSean Jackson last season when he was with an accurate deep ball thrower in Fitzpatrick who could put it in his hands. I mean, nobody gets behind the defense better than DeSean Jackson, but he did not succeed with Jameis Winston because he was underthrown or overthrown by a couple yards, and DeSean Jackson's very capable. So I think this is probably not a great landing spot.
I think that's a pretty good comp.
Brown.
Yeah, I hesitate to make the comparison before we see them on the field together. I mean, we're giving
that's what we're here to do.
But
Andy.
we're making a lot of assumptions about Baker Mayfield taking the year 2 jump, going from a QB 15 in fantasy to a QB 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, but I could hit Odell Beckham.
The point being,
well, you got a height problem.
let me put it this way, and you guys can take it for what you will, which will be for nothing. There are very few players that I'm targeting more than Josh Allen in dynasty leagues. Josh Allen I'm talking about at the quarterback position. If I'm looking to buy low, I think you can still do it with Josh Allen right here, right now. If you go after Josh Allen with a high-tier, high-perception type of quarterback, you can get a deal on him right now.
Absolutely.
Sure, but
and he has nowhere to go but up in the passing game because he didn't have weapons.
Here's
what accuracy,
say.
and those things can improve.
I don't disagree that Josh Allen, is great for fantasy. We saw it at the end of the year. Overall, number 1 quarterback since he came back from his injury. But your comparison to Cam Newton, I think, is actually great. Aside from Steve Smith, have you ever been super pumped that you have Cam Newton's number 1 weapon?
Not yet.
No. I am in no way, shape, or form making a case for John Brown's fantasy value.
Okay, that's
I'm
what
making
I was,
a case
asking.
for Josh Allen's fantasy value
Sure.
improving with Cole Beasley and John Brown, 2 very capable receivers, arriving on the scene.
I agree.
That's
with that.
my only contention.
Okay.
And you had a handful of opportunities.
No!
What just happened? Is it breaking news?
Yes, Brooks.
Breaking news.
What happened?
Look, if you listened to Tuesday's show, just go ahead and delete it. Because is this true, Brooks?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it just came through.
What just came
what
through?
happened?
The 49ers are signing Tevin Coleman to a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Wow.
So,
well, there you go. That's what I was telling you. Look, he's not Le'Veon Bell, and they clearly didn't have the confidence that we thought they had in Jerick McKinnon.
I'm really glad we got this information right now. It's Mike. I was offered a little trade ski this morning
for McKinnon.
I was offered a pretty good deal. I would give up Dalvin Cook. I would get McKinnon and Sutton, and I would give up Cook and Sammy Watkins. And I just did not have the confidence in McKinnon to do the deal, and I'm feeling real happy right now. Tevin Coleman to the 49ers.
That deal is, that's very low money for Tevin Coleman.
Now
he goes to an offense that is very familiar with Tevin Coleman. Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator.
I was going to say, Tevin Coleman seems like he could very well be signing the backup job here.
Yes.
This could be Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman situation. He's literally going back to his old offensive coordinator.
This is a real Tevin Coleman situation.
Coleman is going to fill the Tevin Coleman role. This has never been seen before.
I think he will. This is incredible.
And better than others would.
I think he's the perfect fit for that role, though.
This is like he's on that. You guys remember the game show where you had to stand on the moving platform and fit through the hole?
Oh, yeah. He doesn't have to do anything.
This is Tevin Coleman standing there doing nothing, winning him $10 million.
Yeah.
I really want Kyle Shanahan to go up at the presser and just full deadpan that he was looking to fill the Tevin Coleman role, and this seemed like his best option.
That's a good fit. No, look, if both guys signed this year for the money that both guys are given, I would. It was and it just happened right now. Instant take. I would probably have. I would put Tevin Coleman in second place here.
I actually have a live feed from Jared McKinnon's Twitter.
You do? Oh.
Yeah.
That's I feel like you got to play that for Coleman. We were all so ready for Tevin Coleman to be at 33-year-old Adrian Peterson, 2 years, $8 million. Prime age.
Wait, I didn't hear the money. What was the money?
$10 million.
$10 million.
2 year, $10 million. A $2 million difference between Peterson and Coleman.
You played yourself out of a lot of money last year, Tevin Coleman, because you
Look,
this
is just
Tevin.
This is just trouble because there will be plenty of fantasy points scored by running backs. When you talked about what the Saints have done as a group, the 49ers are primed to do it.
Yeah.
But you don't know which way to slice the pie. And you don't have the proven commodities. Right? McKinnon's never done it. Let's remind people. McKinnon has never done it over the course of a season. Ever.
I think what's going to happen.
Neither has Tevin Coleman.
I think what's going to happen to McKinnon. I think what's going to happen to McKinnon's stock is going to be an overreaction. Now, this is a bump down. Like, make no mistake, you can't believe that McKinnon will finish where you believed he would finish without Tevin Coleman. But I think McKinnon is going to go to death. You know, people are going to be like, he is the backup.
He's going to go to death.
He's just going to go and be meaningless to fantasy players who have him. If you can buy him cheap now, as a
Well, I don't know if he's gonna. I don't agree with you. You think he's gonna go to death?
I think he will plummet in ADP.
You said Coleman, not McKinnon.
No, McKinnon.
Oh,
I
yeah. I don't think he'll plummet. I thought you were talking about Coleman will plummet. Coleman will go. Tevin Coleman will be drafted below where Tevin Coleman would have been drafted to be in the Tevin Coleman role.
I'm still.
I don't see why I would take a shot on Jerry McKinnon in a heartbeat. Not at that
where?
high level.
But where?
Jarek McKinnon will be
he'll be a running back too. He'll be a
Right.
low end too.
Yeah, I think that I think he'll still be good for fantasy, but his ADP now, McKinnon, like 5th, 6th round, 7th round, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. I think
Value?
McKinnon will drop
So,
to the,
look, don't delete
to the
Tuesday's
7th
show.
round.
Like I said, Jarek McKinnon's super stud for fantasy.
Yeah.
My point is, I think McKinnon.
We're back, Brooks. We're back in on McKinnon.
I think McKinnon is going to drop to the point where he might be of value. If he drops to the 6th or 7th round and he is filling that primary role, I think he can return on that value. That's all I'm saying.
No, you could be absolutely 100% right, and I think McKinnon may be on my do not draft list until that gets to that point. That's for sure.
I'm looking at the tweets. Ian Rappaport is confirming it, but in his tweet of the 2-year, $10 million deal, he had to put parentheses as Adam Schefter reported. Do you think anything hurts the soul of Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter if they have to tag the other person because they broke the news? How large of a failure does Ian Rappaport feel?
They don't feel
right
good.
now?
Some people are talking about the possibility of McKinnon being cut.
Wow, that would change my opinion.
McKinnon wouldn't be as much of a value.
I don't
No,
think he would.
not.
But I also don't think.
And
he
then
gets
what?
cut.
Matt Burita. What if dynasty owners do? Let the dust settle here in the backfield. If you're in a
Yeah.
dynasty league, please
Yeah, you
don't do
gotta
anything
hold.
rash.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
hold is the right advice for now.
Hey, you want to talk about something far less contentious, Jason?
Please. Oh no, no, I don't.
Oh, but the
You
trap
sure?
lives.
You don't want to talk
I
about
want to talk
him?
about something more contentious.
Devin S. Moneybags.
Devin S. Scrumptious.
1 year, $10 million deal, $3 million in incentives, could make 13 with the Colts 1 year. There you go. Look, they had a lot of money to spend. We saw Tyrell Williams signed by the Oakland Raiders. We've seen players get a lot of money. Adam Humphries in the slot. Here we are, Devin Funchess, another tight end added to the crop of Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, Mo Cox.
It's like the Colts had a suitcase full of $10 million, and they're like, what should we do with this? And they said, give it to that guy. Who cares? We got money.
Devin Funchess averaged
Gross.
1.9 yards after the catch last year. That is the worst of 69 qualified wide receivers in the league. I don't think there's a real argument here. Devin Funchess will be relevant in Indianapolis on a 1-year deal. Andrew Luck likes big targets. He will have red zone relevance. Andrew Luck threw 38 touchdowns last year. Doesn't really matter whether this is Devin Funchess, if it's Adam Humphries, if it's Cordero Patterson. If you sign him to a good offense, you pay him $13 million, you're going to have relevance. That's the whole story. I don't love Devin Funchess as a player. I don't think the contract made sense. Doesn't really matter for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
He's on the Colts now. So do I really want to draft him and ride the Funchess Express? Probably not. It's a slow train.
But what does it do to Ebron?
It could actually hurt Ebron because Ebron had 15 touchdowns last season. He was a big red zone option. Now you have another literally big red zone option in Devin Funchess. I think this is a guy who you're going to get very, very late in drafts, and he's a touchdown hope. He's similar to the type of guys that are the big play hope. You draft your DeSean Jackson, and you hope he gets that one 60-yard bomb, and otherwise he's going to have a bad fantasy day. I think you're going to see some of that with Devin Funchess. It's just the exact opposite methodology of getting there. Slow, plodding, red zone targets. But people mocked Eric Ebron when he went to his second contract when he was 24 years old with the Colts. He was already written off. Look, Devin Funchess was a second-round pick who's currently 24 years old, going to play with Andrew Luck. There is enough to like here. No, he's not going to be a big yak guy where he gets it and jukes people and tears up an extra 400 yards on the season of after the catch. But I think he will be a relevant flex option on a matchup basis.
They struggled to find somebody last year outside of T.Y. Hilton in the offense. It was Zach Pascal. It was Chester Rogers. It was Dontrell Inman off of the waiver wire that could put up numbers. So, yes, there's no debate that Funchess will have relevance. I'm surprised the Colts didn't want to invest elsewhere, but priorities for their money. The money's off their books in a year. We'll see what happens. I'm going to have to press the pause button on the listeners here because there's just too many other deals to talk about and too many more to be made. So we'll have a second free agent fringy show on Tuesday next week where we'll get into Tyrell Williams, Adam Humphries, Devontae Parker, Jamison Crowder, all the quarterback signings, and everything else where the dust settles and where it goes.
And there's more pieces to land.
Has
anyone heard anything about Golden Tate?
I remember that guy.
Or Jay Ajayi.
Come on, Green Bay.
Dante Moncrief.
A lot of other guys. So we'll talk about many more. You can check out the 2019 NFL Free Agent Tracker on our website, thefantasyfootballers.com. And don't forget to stay tuned till after the outro where the Show 700 nickname montage if you want to enjoy a blast from the past.
Pristine deal of the day.
All right, Mike.
This is 100%
Why don't you handle this one?
Look, prices are going up. Someone was able to get in here. They bought low. They bought right before the Odell Beckham trade happened because they got an Evan Engram signed jersey for just $49. Evan Engram, coincidentally, or not, up on our wall. My man Brooks took care of that, my dynasty tight end. Look, if you want to get in on these hundreds of daily auctions, pristineauction.com. It's incredibly fun. You got some free time. You're on a little break at work. Jump on pristineauction.com.
Let me give you a little example here as we close it out. Sometimes you don't even think you want something, but then the price is too good, and then you sign Tevin Coleman to 2 years and $10 million. I might as well take him at that price. By the way, all of McKinnon's money, all of his fully guaranteed money has already been paid out. His cap hit's very small. They could cut him. We'll have to see what happens. All right, that is it for today's show. Thanks for tuning in, supporting the show at jointhefoot.com. Man, this is a fun time to be alive, gentlemen.
Great time. We'll see you next
McKinnon
time.
Owner.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.
All right, Peach
Cobbler.
Peach Cobbler said that Marshawn Lynch.
They brought in Guns Mahoney.
Guns Mahoney there Guns Mahoney's decision.
Dan Campbell is his name.
Yeah.
The big salad. We're going to talk about the big salad, Sean Drone. Jordan Reed, rule 86 of fantasy football. If Jordan Reed's healthy, you play him. Sammy Biscuits.
Sammy Biscuits.
Sammy
Sammy
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Bones are made of biscuit.
All right, Jeremy Macklin's the next wide
The
receiver.
dirty cake.
The dirty cake himself. So blah blah.
Yes, so blah blah.
Oh, blah, blah.
Because blah blah is
Blah, blah.
blah 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 blah.
It's Tyreek.
The freak. Hill. Here's the deal. I'm living a little bit dangerously, and here's why I'm living dangerously, because it only takes
Crowder.
with Washington.
Crowder.
Crowder.
Shady. The slippery
The
fish.
slippery fish.
Man, he's good.
He was going downstream this time.
Right.
He wasn't swimming upstream. He was just going super fast.
You
You're
talking about-
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley.
Come on,
The
man.
number one wide receiver of my life. If you've not been infected with the Beasles, you gotta get yourself together.
No,
Jason
I had the
clearly has
Beasles.
not.
I had the Beasles when I was a kid, so I can't get it anymore. I am aboard the Thomas Rawls train. That doesn't sound as catchy as like the Abdullah Express.
No.
I gotta come up with a Rawls wagon or something.
Yes.
A Rolls Royce. I'm getting in my Rolls Royce here.
Wow.
I mean,
but it's
we're at the point of the year where.
yeah.
Oh,
What are you revving up?
I think you're trying to rev up the Rolls. The
Yeah.
the
Well,
Rolls
it's been in the
Royce.
garage for a while.
Well, that was soap poured in like that.
Yeah, there were bubbles.
Very bubbly.
Blah 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 blah.
That's the Rolls Royce warming up.
That
This
is
no
a
bubble
creature
machine
in the night.
Oh, yes, it is.
Breaking news.
Peach Cobbler says Thomas Rawls will miss multiple weeks.
Unfreaking believable.
Wow.
Mike has been insufferable with the awakening rhetoric.
Stay healthy. Oh, are we back?
Smash Jackson.
Oh,
Be like,
he'd be a
dude.
second round pick.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I completely agree. I would much rather have Smash Jackson. Oh, Smash Jackson. Come on, Paul Perkins. Be good. Let us have this.
Be good, buddy.
Oh, the rookie sensation.
Kenny Galladay.
Smooth route.
Well, I'm babyface today, but let's talk about baby hands.
Oh.
Jack Doyle. Krampus.
Oh, Mike was right. If you want in the holiday season to be starting Doug Martin, you're going to get Krampus showing up.
I was going to bring up Croft.
Not
Who's interesting.
Not
but
necessarily. Croft is right in that same mold.
But
Tight ends.
See the Tomb Raider?
Oh,
So
that's good. I was hoping to get on some Croft macaroni and cheese, but the Tomb Raider's way better. Terrell Pryor, you get caught up in the Terrell Pryor
dumpster fire.
Yeah,
dumpster fire.
He's not caught up in the crossfire right
You
now.
need
I got a snake, man.
Blake, the snake. Look, I got smooches on the mind.
Oh.
Wow, that's disturbing on an audio level. Talking about J.D. McKissick, Ricky Seals Jones.
Hey,
And the game genie himself, Alvin Kamara. Oh.
there goes Alvin Kamara running down the field. Oh, guys can't touch him. They're bouncing off.
He's literally invincible.
Just ran through another Goomba.
Goodwin has been fantastic.
More
And
like
now that he's
more
got
like great win.
Great
Am
win.
I right?
I love it.
Oh, Marcus Greatwin.
Of course.
Yeah, that's I like it.
It's
You of all people, Mike?
You didn't
I've
let
never-
me. You did not let me finish.
Oh, all right.
because that's 2 thumbs way up.
There it is. There it is.
Devin S. Scrumptious. It's not Tyreek the Freak. It's Tariq the Freak.
Oh.
Tariq Cohen.
Dinosaur Hunter.
Is that a Turok reference?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
that's so bad.
There it is.
When the king shows up,
Everything must stop.
apparently everything stops.
King Goffrey.
Phillip Rivers, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz.
Jared Garf.
Garf.
Jared Garf.
Hope you're having fun.
Garf.
We are.
But seriously, I gotta take Jared. Jared Garf. Jared Garf.
It's Booty Scootin' Cam Newton.
Scooting that booty.
Next week he has to play Baltimore.
You were trying.
That was the Infinity Stone. Frank Gore.
Or someone like Adam Gase in Miami, who, by the way,
Is a butthole.
wow.
Whoa, whoa.
Tell us what you really think.
How do you feel? And I want to give you confidence because if you're worried because the depth chart comes out and you're like, this b-hole is saying he's not even the starter. I'm talking about Adam Gase.
No, I know, but the fact that you went the censored, I've never heard someone say the b-hole.
I've never heard that
I
either.
think that sounds way worse.
It does.
Good. Well, good.
And Ed Dixon, Jason, you've got Red Dead Dixon.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Darnold Schwarzenegger.
Go long. Get to the end zone. Get to the end zone. I like that.
What about Big Montana? You going back? You going back to Big Montana? Oh, we actually
pro move. Andy got it in.
hot lock it.
Oh, hot lock it. I like it.
Believe you've met my fitness consigliere, Michelle.
He's my fitness consigliere.
Yeah, we got to run this by
wait
Andy.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I need to approve all Josh Allen related nicknames.
Josh Stallion.
Oh, it's fabulous. It's freaking wonderful.
Yeah.
Josh Stallion.